In 1223, a great battle took place on the Kalka River, far to the east of Europe. The Mongol army, led by Genghis Khan's top generals, defeated the combined forces of the Russian principalities and their Cuman allies. Many Cumans escaped across the steppe, fleeing westward in fear. Some of those Cuman refugees reached the Kingdom of Hungary. King Andrew II and later, his son Béla IV, welcomed them. Over the next 20 years, the Cumans settled into Hungarian life. They learned the language, adopted Christianity, and fought alongside Hungarians in the royal army. Meanwhile, Genghis Khan's empire kept growing. When he died, his son Ogadai took charge. Ogadai was a skilled administrator and diplomat, and he organized the government so that tax collection and law enforcement ran smoothly. He also trusted his generals and let them lead armies however they saw fit. This approach let the Mongols fight on many fronts at once. In 1236, Ogadai sent Batu Khan to prepare for an invasion of Europe. Batu was joined by Subutai, the empire's greatest strategist. Over the next few years, they conquered most of the Russian lands. By late 1240, Mongol envoys rode toward Hungary with a demand. Hungary must hand over all Cumans, whom they called escaped slaves. King Béla IV refused. He explained that the Cumans were now loyal Christian soldiers of Hungary. Furious, the Mongols used this as their reason to invade. In early 1241, Subutai's main force entered Hungary. To the north, smaller Mongol detachments swept through Poland, tying down any allies who might help Hungary. Back in Hungary, trouble brewed. The Cuman leaders felt cheated. They had been promised safety but were now blamed for Mongol demands. Their chief, Khoten, was murdered in Béla's court. Angry and betrayed, many Cumans deserted the royal army and looted Hungarian villages on their way south. King Béla hurried to gather troops at Pest, his capital. But many nobles refused to fight for him, and Cuman deserters wrecked supply lines. Still, by April 2nd, 1241, Béla managed to march out with about 25,000 men, including a few Austrian knights and some military orders like the Teutonic Knights. Subutai didn't rush to meet him. Instead, he used hit-and-run raids to lure the Hungarians into open ground. Meanwhile, in Silesia, another Mongol force crushed Duke Henry II of Silesia at Legnica on April 9th. Hearing the news, King Wenceslaus of Bohemia turned his army back, leaving Hungary even more alone. On April 10th, Béla reached the swollen Sajo River. Exhausted from forced marches and constant raids, his army set up camp south of a small town called Mohi. The camp was ringed by chained wagons to form a defensive wall. But Béla had almost no idea where the main Mongol army was hiding. As night fell, a runaway slave from the north brought urgent news. The Mongols planned to cross the river under cover of darkness. Béla sent his brother Duke Koloman with a cavalry unit to guard the only stone bridge. Koloman surprised the first Mongol scouts and drove them back. He left a small guard there and returned to report a victory. But Subutai had already split his army. One group waded across the river farther downstream. Subutai himself led another force on a secret route to build a makeshift bridge. Batu Khan attacked the main bridge at dawn with siege engines, forcing Koloman's men off. Then Batu's main force poured across. Back in camp, Béla still had no clear plan. His commanders finally formed up 2 hours after sunrise. When Béla ordered a full cavalry charge, his knights struck hard. For a moment, they pushed Batu's troops back against the riverbank. Even Batu's personal guard suffered heavy losses. Then, Subutai's hidden detachment appeared behind the Hungarian lines. Caught between two Mongol armies, the Hungarian troops panicked and fled back toward their wagon circle. Subutai chose not to attack the wagons directly. Instead, he and Batu surrounded the camp, raining arrows and firecrackers or thunder smoke on the defenders. Throughout the afternoon, the Mongols brought up catapults and bombarded the camp. The trapped Hungarians tried a few desperate sallies, but each time the Mongols simply fell back and regrouped. Finally, Hungarian morale collapsed. Many soldiers broke through a gap in the wagons and ran south, only to be cut down by Mongol horse archers. Archbishop Ugrin was killed in the chaos. Duke Koloman was badly wounded and died days later. King Béla fled with the few survivors and found his way to safety in Austria, then Croatia. He was captured by Duke Frederick II of Austria and forced to surrender 3 counties before he was released. By nightfall on April 11, 1241, the Battle of Mohi was over. The Mongols lost only a few thousand men, while Hungary's army was almost entirely destroyed. Hungary would take decades to rebuild after this devastating defeat. But King Béla IV never forgot the lesson. Strong walls and good defenses are the best protection against a powerful enemy. The Mongol invasion of 1241 changed Europe forever. It showed how a fast, organized army and careful planning by leaders like Subutai could defeat even the proudest knights. Yet this story also reminds us of the courage and resilience of the Hungarian people, who would rise again from the ashes of Mohi. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more history videos.